G'day guys, how you going? This is Mick and I'm going to do a review of my Ripmo AF. Yeah, so I've had this bike now for a couple of months and I think I could justify doing a sort of decent review. So a bit of a rundown why I picked the IBIS RIPMO AF. Well, I was on a budget and I've always wanted an IBIS bike. When these popped up, my eyes lit up and they said, was it $3,000 US, which turned out to be nearly $6,000 Australian. But anyway, yeah, so that's what I've always wanted, and there's a couple of conditions. I wanted it straight out the box, a good bike. I wanted good suspension, definitely on a budget, and I wanted to be able to buy it from my local bike shop, which was actually a Giant dealer. So that made things a little tricky, but they pulled it off, and yeah, big thanks to Joel and the crew at Giant Rockhampton. A couple of other things I was looking for when I wanted a bike. Yeah, I wanted a 29er. I wanted the long travel 29er. Something that can handle enduro style tracks and just a little more comfortable, something that was a really good climber. And I had a look at a couple of bikes. So the bikes I was looking at was a Giant Rain. I think it's a Carbon 2 or something, Advanced 2, which is a blue bike. I think it is. It's a lovely bike. I also had a look at the YT Capra, but I really wanted the backup from a shop. So yeah, that sort of was eliminated pretty early, plus availability in the middle of COVID. So I went for this. It ticked every single box straight up. I wanted something that was a plain looking frame. I wanted something that was a little bit different probably to what we see here in the local trail systems. And I just wanted something that was, as I said, out of the box, ready to rip. And this is it. Okay, so first of all, I'll touch on the climbing of the bike. I like it. It's really smooth. You don't need to lock the suspension out at all. I very rarely use my 50 tooth, and I could pedal all day on this bike, I reckon, or for as long as I could. And I don't think its climbing ability would slow me down. You don't feel like this is a heavy 29er. And I'm not a strong climber. Hey buddy, how you going? Cheers. And it just goes. That DW link just smooths everything out on a climb. Feels good. Oh, this thing is a dream going down a hill. Descends so nice. This is where this thing comes alive. Suspension is so smooth. The OTT on the fork makes a world of difference to anything I've ridden before. And just feels planted. Sort of, it's nimble enough, but you're the boss. But when you get in the shit, it takes over. Yeah, it's a boss descending. Woo! So I will start with the things that I changed straight up, well, after a couple of rides anyway. I did ride it straight out the box. I changed the handlebars. I went to the 800 wide 35mm rise rental bars. Craney's got them, I like them. Webby's got them, all the boys have got them, and I just like them. I've had them before and they felt really good. I felt the 780 bars were holding it back when I originally started riding it. And I also went for a 35mm stem from Joystick. Very nice, I really like it. And they have changed the whole characteristics of the bike. I thought the 800 wide might have been a little bit wide, but no, not at all. They feel great. So we'll start with the frame. Look, the welds are amazing. They're first class, absolutely brilliant. And geez, it looks good. I really like this colour. I don't like a bright colour, and yeah, it just looks really cool. It's got some really nice decals where they're supposed to be, I reckon, and yeah, you don't miss it's an IBIS because it's got IBIS stuff all over, which is cool. I like that, repping the company. And the DW link is another reason why I went for this, because I'm not a strong climber. I didn't want an e-bike, and I thought, like, just from my experience, I've seen a few DW link bikes and I've read reviews on them, and they reckon they're great, and I have to agree with them. So yeah, the frame is amazing. It looks good. It's very quiet. I really like that too. So coming down to the suspension, the Topaz and the Diamond by DVO, and was another reason why I went for this bike. So this come with the bike, obviously. Nothing but good reviews, and I can honestly say it's been flawless. I really like it. I love all the adjustability in it, and I don't know, it just feels how a bike should feel. And I reckon that this DVO suspension combined with a DW link is amazing. It really works. It just feels good, and as they said, it is a hover bike. I've had no problems with adjusting it. Every adjustment I make seems to make a difference, which is pretty unusual for me anyway. I've only ever had like a low to mid-range sort of suspension set up on any bike I've had. Having this DVO stuff really made a difference. I can't say how much I love this suspension. Rightio, the NX drivetrain. It's been pretty good. I've got no complaints. I've lost this, but anyway, seems to be a common problem. There seems to be a few of them like that getting around here. I just have to get another one from the shop. That's no dramas. I have had a little bit of an issue, a lot of adjusting after the first couple of rides, and I still seem to be adjusting it, although the last ride was pretty good. I kept, my derailleur was a little bit out, and I did get a bit of chain suck into the spokes there, but I could handle that. And the cranks, so the cranks are 175mm long. They're too long. Basically, I reckon that 170mm would make a huge difference, and I've read that this is the case. So I know a lot of guys have swapped them out for the 170s, and it's made a huge difference with pedal strikes and just yeah, just the overall feel and performance. So the saddle, the Silverado by WTB, feels great. It's really comfortable. I think it might be BKXC on YouTube. He recommends them, and I've got to be honest, this comes standard with the bike. It's staying. I really like this. And the KS dropper post, I have not had one problem with it. It does its job, goes up and goes down when I want it to. So win-win. All right, the brakes. Let's cut straight to it. Guide T brakes. They do not have a great reputation, and I watched a lot of reviews on this bike before I bought it. In fact, I actually bought this bike on reviews, so because I've never seen an IBIS bike ever. So, and they're not real common in Australia. So I just thought, well, you know, like, I'll give it a go, and everyone's saying swap them out and that. They've been really good. I've had no problem with them. I'm going to take that back. I did have a small problem with them. I'd got a lot of fade. After about an hour of riding, they did fade out a little bit. Then they went completely numb, as in like I had nothing, but now they're fine. I'm definitely going to have a look at some new brake pads though. I've been told that they can make a huge difference. So I'm going to have a look in that direction. But yeah, they've been okay. You know, they wouldn't stop me from recommending this bike. So coming on to the wheel set now, I really like the hubs. They sound really good. They're not over loud. You certainly know they're there. They're very, very smooth. I really like them. I think that the IBIS hubs are really cool. However, these wheels, they're 35mm. They look really cool. But if you've got a little bit of OCD like me, you can't. They're really hard to look at. Just being their design, how they're round on one side and flat on the other. But yeah, they do the job. I can tell now they're bloody stiff. They feel really good actually. You can really tell you got a wide, tough rim when you're riding this bike. Okay, the rubber. Now when I got this bike, I was really happy that it came with these tyres. And look, I did change my mind after a little while. The reason being, an Assegai on the rear, which, you know, is super cool, like when you're going down hills. But they did drag a little bit on the climbs, or that's what I thought. So I persevered with them because I really liked when I was going down a hill. They just felt bloody amazing. And you know what? I don't ride to ride up a hill, so I ride to ride down a hill. So I'm really happy I've persevered. I've gotten used to it, and yeah, I love the grip. I think they're fantastic. The 2.5 is just right. Not a bad tire to get on a bike, eh? Yeah, so as I did say at the beginning, the only thing that I really did change was the handlebars and the stem. It needed to be done. I thought to bring this bike alive, and if you're thinking about doing the shorter stem, wider bars thing, I'd recommend doing it. It just feels really good. Talking about the cockpit area, the grips. These grips are just way too thin. I'm used to a thicker grip, and I put them on because I reckon they look cool. I really liked them, and I persevered with them, and I'm so happy I did. They are so good. I was still going to try a thicker grip just to make sure, but I really like these grips. They are amazing. They're a lizard skin with IBIS stuff written all over it, and a nice little collar with IBIS on it. They really look the part. I like them. So that's it, guys. That's a little rundown review of this bike. I didn't want to go into big detail because there's a heap of videos out there with that. I just want to give my honest impression of the bike. The pros are, well, it's an IBIS. They're superbly made bikes. I really like the DW link with the DVO suspension, and I just like the feel. I just like it's a bike that I can progress on. And like, I'm not a kid, I'm 50 years old, but I can feel as though I'm getting better riding this bike. And I'd say that the only cons I could find on this bike, I think the cranks are a little bit too long. I think 170s over 175 would be a little better, but you know, change of technique and maybe an upgrade later on. It doesn't have to happen today. Yeah, just love it. It's just an amazing bike. It's a little heavy bike. However, it rides light, so if that makes sense, you don't feel as though you're riding an alloy bike. An alloyed frame bike. It just feels like you're just riding a bike. Anyway, guys, I hope you found that a little useful. Yeah, basically I just wanted to tell the world just how good this bike is, without going into too much detail. It really is a good bike. I'd recommend it. Especially, you know, if you've got a little bit of carbon anxiety like I have, but still want to ride a really, really good high-end bike, I'd recommend it. The IBIS RIPMO AF. Thanks, guys. Stay well.